Hey friends, it's Carol, Saltbox Stitcher. I'm back. It's March 30th, Saturday morning. And I had wanted to do a video a little earlier. I've kind of been under the weather. We went to Disney and the grandkids shared their cold with me. So this, in fact, I think it was Thursday. I think I took 2 naps one day. So anyway, I feel better today. I'm over it, but I wanted to do a video. So how are you? Hopefully it's spring, at least the beginnings of spring where you are. My heart goes out to all the people that have had problems with the flooding in Nebraska and Missouri. That's very unfortunate, but hopefully everybody can donate or give something to help some of those people. So anyway. I've named this video Flower Power because there's a lot of flowers on some of the samplers I've been working on, and I'll show you those in a minute. So the first thing I wanted to show you was my framed pieces. I think my last video I talked about having 4 pieces that were coming from Total Framing in Virginia. I think they do a wonderful job. I'm very, very happy with them. So let me show them to you. The first one is called the 1861 Antique Sampler. This is by Blackbird. And whoops, this one, it's in a book called In Friendship's Way. I'm not sure if that is still available. I did it on I think it's 36. It could be 32 count mellow by Picture This Plus, and I used the called for. I think I showed you this in progress at some point in time. The called for have these pinks and kind of peachy oranges and grays, and initially it's kind of like, ooh, are these going to go together? But they do, and it works. I have seen other people that have done a conversion to more traditional colors, but I did the called for, and I love it. It's not a big piece, but I'm really, really happy with it. 1861 Antique Sampler. I didn't get the book out for that, mainly because I think it's filed with another piece or something that I'm going to do out of the book. The next one of the 4 that I got back is Harriet Elizabeth Coe. And I just dropped the pattern. This is Harriet Elizabeth Coe by With Thy Needle and Thread, Brenda Gervais. And I did this a few years ago. Do you ever mark time by events in your life? My son got married, be 4 years this summer. And I know I did this before he was married. Or newly married. So I did this like 3 or 4 years ago. And he came over one night and we were sitting talking and I had a glass of wine. And somehow I was talking and I put my wine down and I had one of the little quilts that I put on the end tables and it kind of slipped and some of it sloshed out. Didn't spill the whole glass, just some of it sloshed out. And so we continued talking and pretty soon he goes, Mom, you realize you just spilled wine on your cross stitch. Like, no. So I quick went to the kitchen and ran water. That was just a panic mode. I don't know that I should have done that. But anyway, so there's bleeding of some of the reds. And so for a long time I was like, I don't know if I'm even going to get this framed. But I did, and I love it. So it's Harriet Elizabeth Coe by Brenda Gervais, With Thy Needle and Thread. And this is the piece. At the time I had spilled wine, I think I was like down to about here. I was quite a ways. And this whole alphabet up here is, I think that's the one. Yeah, it's all eyelet stitches. But you can see around the M, there's some bleeding. And let's see, where's the other place? Oh, this H, there's some bleeding. But in the long run, when it's on the wall, I don't think it's really noticeable. And I love this piece. I love the colors. I just love it. So I'm really glad that I finally decided to go ahead and get it framed. The other thing was, after I had wet it and tried to get, I got all the wine out. That wasn't the problem. The problem was putting the water on the reds. Then it was really, really wrinkled. So I had a hard time because I didn't want to smush the stitches by ironing it too much. So really, it sat unframed for years, and then I finally framed it. So I'm happy. Happy camper. Harriet Elizabeth Coe. Love it. I think that pattern's still available. I know on Brenda Gervais' site, countrystitchesonline.com, she has a lot of things that are you might not find on most online shops, but you can get them from her site. So the next one, and I know a lot of people are stitching this right now, and I absolutely love this piece. I know I say that about all my pieces, but I do. I really love this piece. This is In All Things Be Exceedingly Diligent by Needlework Press. Oh, the last one, Harriet Elizabeth Coe, I did that on whatever it was called for, and I'm not sure what was called for on that, and it probably lost a little bit of the linen color when I washed it out. But anyway, this one is done on I think I did it on a lakeside. It calls for raw, Belfast raw, natural, or lamb's wool. But I'm pretty sure I did it on a lakeside. I've shown you the piece before. In All Things Be Exceedingly Diligent. I love the size of this. I love everything about it. The frame I got has a little bit of gold. I don't usually put gold on. Let me back up. Well, I told Total Framing I don't like gold. What I meant was I don't like a whole frame that's gold. It's just a little bit too formal for my style of decorating, which I don't really have a style. I just throw things together that I like. But I do like a little bit of an inner inside frame that has some gold on it. I think if you have a lot of gold threads, it really kind of adds to it. In All Things Be Exceedingly Diligent. I think I did this one on Sand Dune by Lakeside Linen. I did 40 count because I'm pretty sure I was able to get it on a fat quarter. Don't quote me on that one. And I used anchor threads. I probably would have been just as happy had I done it with DMC. I thought the anchor shred a little bit. And that's just me being candid. There were some areas I had to unstitch. Unstitch. But I used the called for. She offers it in DMC and anchor suggestion. And I use the called for anchor threads. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. And this looks like black, but this is actually a dark navy blue. Same with the house. In All Things, Be Exceedingly Diligent. Not sure where I'm going to hang that, but soon. The last piece I want to show you that I had framed, if this isn't my favorite, this is definitely one of my favorites. I just like big projects. You run out of wall space and they kind of take over your house, but I love doing them. I love them when they're framed, all about it. Some people call them big ass projects. I call them big fanny project, BFP. Anyway, this is Rachel Howell, 1856 by the Scarlet House. Sorry for the glare. When I'm stitching one, I usually leave the color picture in the plastic, and then I just take the chart out And I have a clipboard that I put the chart on when I'm stitching it. I don't know why this plastic looks like it's been around the world. But anyway, Rachel Howell, Scarlet House. This is big. I don't even know if I can get it in the picture. I love this piece. Love it. Every one of those red flowers was worth it. Because that's a lot of intense stitching on the border. Love the red house, love the Adam and Eve, love the birds. This is just a gorgeous, gorgeous sampler. There again, I got a little bit of gold on here. And the frame is pretty big. I mean, some people, don't like as big a frame, but I just think this really makes it it's like a piece that you really want to highlight in your house. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Rachel Howell. Very, very happy with my framing. And I actually have a couple more pieces that I sent to Heart's Desire, which is the store in Wichita. They had a sale. Their sale usually lasts like a week, 10 days. And I had just gotten those other two pieces, Ann Pegg and Sarah Turner, back from being framed from her. And then I saw on Facebook that she had a sale, so I went ahead and sent 3 smaller pieces to her. So no hurry. They'll be back when they're back. So I think I've said before, she carries Eastside moldings, and they're very primitive, and I really like Eastside moldings. So I do also send things to Heart's Desire in Wichita. So those are my 4 pieces that I got back. So I've had a lot of pieces over the years that I haven't framed right away, and then I kind of gotten behind in framing. So that's why sometimes I'm sending more than one piece. So anyway, the next thing I want to talk about, I think, is my whips. My non-rotation rotation. Oh, I watched my last video. I guess I was a little out of sorts. I don't know. I definitely had a brain burp about Margaret and Margaret. I think it was full out brain flatulence. I just could not think of it. So I have my notes, so I won't torture with all that trying to remember stuff again. Okay, so I'm going to talk about my whips. I made the decision, rather than to monogamously do one sampler at a time, that I was going to do multiple samplers. And I think I showed you 4, maybe 5 pieces that I was going to work on. And I'm just thinking one of them I didn't. I may stop and go get it in a minute, but I'll go ahead and show you what I have been working on. The system I've been using is that I'll stitch on something, and I went back and counted in my journal. It looks like I'm stitching on them about 8 to 10 days, kind of continuously. And then I'll start thinking, okay, I'm getting to kind of an area where I can kind of stop or move on. And so then I'll go to another piece. So the first one I want to show you is the Red Deer sampler. And we talked about this before. Don't you love how we say we? Like you're talking to me. I hear you. Does that count? Anyway, this is Red Deer. This is the one I said you have to have a sampler vision. Oh my goodness. I say things and I'm thinking, when did I say that? I have to watch the video again. Oh my goodness. This is Red Deer. We talked about the pictures are not great, but this is the antique, so it probably wasn't in the best of shape when GGR reproduced it. And here is my piece, complete with a needle and thread still in it. And there's one of the reasons I've been saying flower power. I'm doing this on 36 count Lakeside linen color cedar plank with the called for threads, which are mostly gentle art. Look at that pot of flowers. Is that not gorgeous? I've kind of randomly done some of the flowers at the top, got the whole border stitched around. And when I say I do the border first, I mostly mean that I do the vine or whatever to make sure it meets up. I don't always necessarily fill in the border when I first do it because, you know, once I've got the vine or whatever established, then I'm pretty much good to go as far as the motifs. So there is a color in here, Lexington green. Lexington green is kind of one of those, you know, will the real Lexington green please stand up? You know, we get these colors and sometimes it's like, oh, this one's very blue. Oh, this one's very gray. Oh, this one's very yellow. So you can see right here, let's see right here, there's a color. But it is hard to see. I'm okay with it, but I think if I had to do it all over again, I probably would have changed that to something that was a little bit, I think it's supposed to be a bluish green, real pale bluish green, and I think I would have gone to something that was a little stronger, but it's all good. I've looked at other people's and, you know, that have finished it, and it's hard to see that color on theirs too. So anyway, this is how big it'll be. I'm really loving it. I'm loving it, loving it. It's very, very fun. So that is GGR Red Deer Sampler threads. And they are all gentle art. Love it. Can't wait to start on the actual deer. The next one that I've been working on is Sarah Unwin, More Flower Power. Sarah Unwin is by Chessie and me. And this she released at Market this year, but I got mine last year from Country Sampler. It was a stitch along. Oops. I'm close to being a third of the way done with this, I think. This is longer than it is wide, and I'm doing this one on, I think it's Butter Pecan. No, I think it's either Meadow Rue or I think that's what it is. Anyway, it's by Lakeside, and it's 36 count. Don't you love that big pot of flowers? Here it is closer. Flower Power. Very fun. Love the border. Love the little flowers in the border. Strawberries, whatever they are. Somehow I missed the point in your life where you're supposed to learn about flowers. I have friends and they're like, oh yeah, I'm growing da-da-da and da-da-da. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. I know roses. I know tulips. I know daffodils, although my mom used to call them jonquils. I know poinsettias. I know carnation. But you get into a lot of different types of flowers, and I'm like, I have no idea what that is. Like, don't ask me to identify a bougainvillea. I don't know what it is. Anyway, Sarah Unwin, that was by Chessie and me. So that's my second piece in my non-rotation that I'm working on. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Each one of these, I am just really enjoying stitching. The next one that I'm working on is by the Scarlet House. A lot of people have finished this one. I'm a little late to the party. I think she released it last year at Market 2018. I bought the pattern then, but I didn't kit it up right away. So Martha Pudsey, 1835 by the Scarlet House. This linen looks sort of grayish, but I'm doing mine on 40 count, and this is it's something gold. It's a double dye from Lakeside. Autumn Gold. It's a pretty dark piece. And there again, I love these little lollipop flowers. I have a few more stitches to do around these flowers here, but basically the border's done. So now I can get right in to doing the motifs. This is another Adam and Eve. I got a little over one, but not a whole lot. I love this piece. Love it, love it. I have her name in. And a little bit of a start on the yard or lawn or whatever you want to call it. Very fun. Some of these I could just keep working on, but then I know how fun the others are that I'm doing. So it's like, no, I want to switch. And those I'm doing with needlepoint silks, which are the called for. Pretty reds. Pretty fun. The other thing that I'm working on, I don't think I mentioned last time, but there were so many people that were finishing this and working on it. I'm having shirt issues here, sorry. That I was like, okay, I have it kitted, why delay? And that is Merrily, Merrily We Welcome Spring by Blackbird. A lot of people are doing this now. It's gorgeous. Nicole's needlework. Nicole just finished hers. Very, very, very pretty. And like I said, I had it kitted. It's kitted with the called for. Some pinks. There's Weeks and Gentle Art and a couple classic color works. It's just really, these really are my colors. The pretty greens, the reds. Love it. So this one I haven't gotten near as far. I'm working on the border. So I'm anxious to get back to this. A couple more days on Red Deer and then I'll go back to this one. This is next in my non-rotation. Oh, I love how stuff comes back to haunt you. Oh, I won't do a rotation. Yeah, that's what you're doing. So anyway, that's Merrily, Merrily We Welcome Spring, and I love it. The other thing, speaking of spring, that I'm working on is, this is a smaller piece by Not Forgotten Farm called Ah, 'Tis Spring. Love that bunny. Whoops, she's so cute. And this one I'm doing it on a piece of Dixie Sampler Fabrics, a 40 count beechwood. And I'm just working on the dress. And there's a lot of stitching on this dress. When we went to Disney, I kind of pre-started some of these so that if I had time to stitch, I could just fill in. But I didn't have time to stitch. So I went like 4 or 5 days. I was definitely stitching withdrawal. I came home and was like, oh, I need to stitch for like 24 hours straight. you hear that, Jen? 24 hours. Anyway, that's a reference to Quirks and Stitches, who's doing another 24 hours of stitching. I don't know if I could do that. I can stitch late, but it's those morning hours that, you know, like 7 in the morning after you've been up all night, that you're like, whoa, this is a little rough. So that one I'm doing in the DMC. With the exception of the dress, I wanted some variegation, so I'm using Classic Colorworks. Oh, deep fennel. But other than that, it's just the called for DMC. So those are my whips. I have more whips, but that's what I'm concentrating on working on right now. The other thing that I have a finish is this little kit from La Di Da. It's a little needle book. This one is another one that I started thinking that I was just going to have all this time in the evening in Disney. You know, it was my daughter and myself and the grandkids. And I thought, okay, the kids are going to be wiped out. They're going to go right to sleep. I can sit and stitch. I was wiped out. Anyway, so it says 2018 on the piece on the stitch piece on the pattern, but I think this just came out at market. Anyway, so I have the stitching complete. Obviously 2019. This is 32 count something. I think it's a week's. Like I said, it came in a kit. And then on the back, you put your initials. Well, she has a dividing line so that you put one initial on one side of the heart and one on the other. Well, W takes up a lot more space than C. I don't know if it's worth ripping that out to redo it. It's just a needle book, and it's the back of it, so I probably won't. If anything, I could rip out the heart and put it in the middle, but then it won't be centered. The heart won't be centered on the little needle book. She sends you the, you know, everything to finish it. I just haven't finished it yet. But I think it's adorable. So I really need to do some finishing. I haven't done any in a while. Here's the fabric she sends you for the inside of the book. So it'll be really cute when it's all done. Speaking of finishing, I have 2 other pieces I finished. I don't know if I finished these last year or the year before. You know, time just all runs together. But this one is Plum Street, Hello Spring. This is all the called for. I didn't get out the pattern. You know, she has all spring, summer, winter, goodbye, fall. Fall. Anyway, I'm not sure how I want to finish this. It would be kind of cute framed, but it would also be cute like a little stand-up. It won't be a pillow. It's too big to be a pillow. But anyway, I need to do something with that one. The other one, and I think Teresa showed this on one of her recent videos. This is called Spring Fling. This is an old Blackbird pattern. Loose Feathers number 13. Which, by the way, where did I see this? I read somewhere Blackbird's new, you know, they usually have a series every year. And I think I read somewhere their series is going to start in April or May, and it's going to be baskets. Love it, can't wait. So I will sign up for that. Anyway, this is Spring Fling by Blackbird. And there again, this is one of those ones that's kind of, you know, it's like 7 inches by 7 inches or 6.5 by 7, something like that. So it's kind of hard to know. Do I want to frame it? You know, you only have limited space to set out frame stuff. Because this is something I probably wouldn't, well, I might put it on the wall in the hallway, but it would be cute on like a little easel. So I may frame it. I don't know. I haven't decided. So those are 2 things that I need. that I have finishes and I need to finish. Okay, I'm going pretty fast here, so this may be a short video. The next, I say that, and then it's like, oh, there's an hour. The next one is I'm going to call my Wanna Stitch. I have a whole basket. I showed you a basket last time. And two of those pieces, the Autis Spring and the Home, came out of that basket, I think. Anyway, they came out of that basket. This is another basket of stuff. These are my Wanna Stitch. And preferably sooner than later. I think Pam from Just Keep Stitching, Steph and Pam, she has a wheel. And sooner rather than later is the name. I like that. Don't do wheels, but I like that. Okay, so this one is, I want to be a Sooner. This is called 1,000 Hills, and I love this scripture. The fowls above the Lord doth know, the earth with water he fills, the beasts of the forest belong but to him, and the cattle on 1,000 hills. I love that. And I have that all kitted. I think this is Winter Brew by R&R, and then the called for colors. And I think that once I get it done and framed, it would be a nice kind of companion piece to this one, Still Waters by Plum Street. That was by Plum Street, which I already have framed. This is Straw Flower. I know the name of the linen is Straw Flower. I think it's by, it's by Lakeside. Vintage Straw Flower. And this is, I think this is 40 count. I'm not sure. Anyway, I did this 2016. I guess I have it right here. Oops, right there, 2016. So anyway, I think that and the 1,000 Hills, they're kind of similar. They both have scripture. I think they would be nice together. Okay, so that's one of my Wanna Stitch. My next Wanna Stitch, and these are in no particular order. This is one, I don't have the linen with this yet. I'm going to use probably a piece of Lakeside. This is one that Stash Sisters, what's her first name? Carol? My mind went blank. Anyway, Stash Sisters. She did this one, or she's working on it. And she works at the attic. And so I asked her to kit it up for me with the GGR a lot of times does cotton threads. She does a lot of Gentle Art and Weeks threads, but I wanted to do it in silks, and so I asked her. She had done a conversion. What is her name? Oh my gosh, here I go again. I'm sorry, I forgot your name, Stash Sister. Anyway, it's by GGR, Miss Manners. It says, the last great day is drawing nigh when Christ the Judge shall come with all the armies of the sky to call his children home. Elizabeth Manners. It's not about Manners. That's the girl's name that stitched it. And she did a conversion for me to silks. See how pretty those are. Very pretty. The red, for those of you who want to know, is called Pomegranate. These are Gloriana, for the most part, Gloriana. I think I was missing one that they're going to send me. Or maybe not. Maybe they're all in here. That's a Wanna Stitch. So I need to get the linen for that. And I mean, I have some linen. I just need to serge it and get it ready to go. So that's a sooner rather than later. This is another one that's a kit. I got this from Country Sampler. Lucy Snooshall. Love the red house. It does have some over one. I think one of the alphabets is over one, maybe. Love it. So that's a one stitch. Oh, and that one I just have with vintage exemplar with the called for cottons. I'm telling you, when I get some of those samplers, they're sort of like crack. No offense to anybody that really has a problem. But, you know, that's why I never did drugs, because I do kind of have an addictive personality, I think. Obviously. Don't say anything. Anyway, samplers to me are like, how soon can I do another one? How soon can I do another one? I've had this one kitted for a while. This is Ragamuffin number 2, a Quaker sampler by Shakespeare's Peddler. If you watch Kitten Stitcher's videos, occasionally you'll see it in her room where she films from. And she has a beautiful, it's just gorgeous. It's big. It's very big. So recently, Nicole on Nicole's Needlework said, you know, this was one that she wanted to stitch. So I thought, I have that. I need to get it out. So I have that. It has, I have the called for threads, which are silks. They're mostly, you have some greens and one red, one kind of goldish color, and black. Because most of the letters are in black, but then around it there's all this other colors. So I think I've mentioned this before. I need to get on it because I love that. The next one a stitch. This was my unicorn for a long time. I had seen it in somebody's Instagram and the pattern was like nowhere to be found. And finally, I saw it on Stash Unloading or something, and I finally got the pattern. And it's silly that I haven't started it because I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I don't have it. I don't have the threads all on a ring yet. And this is a piece of, oops. This is a piece of vintage light exemplar by Lakeside. And the pattern is the ES Spot Motif Sampler by Of Female Worth. Love that. A lot of red. I just think it's beautiful. So I have no reason why I haven't started this yet because I've had the pattern now for a couple of years. I bought it from like somebody on Stash Unload. Need to start it. This is another one. Nicole's Needlework recently showed on one of her videos some things that she wants to eventually frame. And this was one that she has already stitched. I actually have another one in the book kitted up, but this is, it's called Sarah's House. And it's by Blackbird Designs. And the book it's in is also called Sarah's House. This was part of the Loose Feathers, so this one came as a kit when I was on the Loose Feathers. I would think I saw this somewhere recently. Maybe Kitten Stitcher has some on her website. I'm not sure. By Blackbird. And here's the one that Nicole had finished. So I had most of the Belsois silks by Classic Colorworks for this one. So I went ahead and, there again, I don't have it on a ring yet. One of them is, there's the greens. A little bit of kind of a pecan color. So the picture is pretty true to the colors. Sarah's House by Blackbird. Wanna Stitch. And as like everybody else, I want to stitch Hawk Run Hollow. This is the Villages. I love this one. This is probably the one I'll start on. I think it's a great idea to do one a month, and that should be my goal. And I have this one kitted with Sand Dune by Lakeside. I think I have all the patterns. I might not have all of them, but I have a number of them. And that's the one I picked that I want to do first. I have one more Wanna Stitch, and everybody's doing this one. Savior's Praise. There's a conversion somewhere on Instagram that people are using for the silks. I think it calls, well, I know it does. It calls for either Anchor or DMC. And I'm going to use the NPI silks. A lot of people are doing this on Sunday, so I will probably start this Sunday because I finally got my fabric. Sorry, the glare. This is Beach Brew. I think it's Beach Brew. Yeah, Beach Brew. I think I got 36 instead of 40 count. And that's by R&R. So here, everybody's seen this. It's fabulous. So that is I will definitely start that on Sunday. Okay, so that's my whips, that's my frame pieces, that's my finishes, that's my Wanna Stitch. I do have some things I ordered from Market, and then we might be done. Somebody said I must be going to live to be 100. I'm sure I'm going to live to be 100. I've already surpassed my mom. She died when she was like 63. I'm 67. Somebody in a comment said, oh, you're 72, same as me. Don't get me there yet. I'm 67. Almost 68, but I'm 67. Not almost. I'll be 68 in September. I'm going to go through these really fast because so many of them, you know, everybody's done their market haul and, you know, all that. So this one is Scarlet House, Julia Fletcher. This is Stacy Nash, Harriet Brown Redwork sampler. Love that. That would go fast. Here's a better picture on the back. Summer Pomegranate Needlebook. I'm not sure if that's new. Stacy Nash. Martha Davies sampler. There's the antique. By Chessie and Me. Love that. Ooh, I'm so sorry. I just didn't want to take all these out of the bag. I could have. Plum Street, Gentleman's Daughter. Love that. Spring salt boxes. I also have autumn salt boxes kitted. I mean, hello, Saltbox Stitcher. Do I have to do these? Of course, I have to. So that's cute. Hopefully she'll come out with winter and summer. Then I'll have a whole dough bowl full of salt box. I think she made them for me, don't you? I don't really believe that. The Wool and Flax Company. Oops. Y'all have seen this. Plum Street. Quilts and Quakers by Lottie Da. I'm a quilter. So, Quaker Sewing Tray. Oops. Brenda Gervais. Three Lilies. Lottie Da. Love that. I should do this for my daughter. She loves Lottie Da. She has quite a few, not quite a few. She probably has 4 pieces that she has done Lottie Da and has them framed on her wall. Sweet Sophia, Lottie Da. I think that's really cute. Prairie House Sampler, Brenda Gervais. These aren't kitted. It'll be a while before I get to these. I have all the others in this series, so might as well get quote Shakespeare. I love this, and I know it is a Shakespeare quote. And in a tedious sampler, she sewed her mind, and that's where her mind went. She's gone. When Flowers Blossom, Where Liberty Dwells, Forever and Ever. Here's another Lottie Da. Elizabeth Jones. I have a couple other Scarlet House ones that I haven't gotten yet that I'm going to get. Pineberry Lane, Ann Marston. I think that's really cute. Love those 2 people. Holiday Hoopla, Brenda Gervais. Some of these I'm collecting because I have, this is adorable. Mrs. Bunny E-Tail, Bun E-Tail. So cute. Got the Blackbird books. Lasting Friendship, Bells on Christmas Day, and Ooh La La. I got a couple Kathy Barrick. I got Needlework. Somebody asked me if I was going to do these colors, and yes, I will do those colors. The Embroiderer's Stocking. I didn't get the whale one. I like it, but this one really spoke to me. I haven't done any of these stockings yet, but I would love to start that. Exceedingly Fine Tea. I don't know that I agree. I would rather drink tea than the finest of wine. I don't know, but I'll stitch it. And then I got this one, which is Shakespeare's Peddler, Kitten Stitcher's Louisa Horsey, as well as, you know, her Savior's Praise, which I showed you. And then the Biedermeier sampler. Love this. I really would like to kit this like pretty soon because I think that's really cool. And that one calls for Belsois. I had a few of them, so I went ahead. And that's what she bought. Okay. I think that's pretty much everything. I did want to cover one more thing. I had somebody ask me about the quilt that was hanging up here. And I wasn't very good at answering comments. I read them all, but I wasn't very good about answering them. I'm pretty sure the one I had hanging was this one. I love this size quilt. They're perfect for wall hangings. I a lot of times will fold them, roll them up, and put them in a crock or whatever, some kind of container. So somebody asked about that one. And then I also have these 2 that I've done. And this is a lot of really small piecing, but I really like that. And then I have this one, I have the one that's up there now. And these, all of them, are from, they're by, I'm going to have a huge landslide in a minute if I'm not careful. They're by Carol Hopkins. She does these little Civil War, and there's 3 books altogether. I think when I originally made those, they were individual patterns. But all of the ones I just showed you are in one of these Civil War legacy books. You can see the one that I showed you is right here. When I worked at the quilt shop, we used to kit these up a lot with the individual patterns. That's the one that I showed you. One of the ones. And then this is the other one that I showed you that I did in blues. And those are all just in the first book, Civil War Legacies. It's fun little, you know, especially if you go somewhere and you're going to be at a quilt retreat, you can just do small little pieces. You don't have to take a huge amount of stuff. So those are the quilts that I want to show you. And one other thing, last time I talked about my light, that little daylight light that I got. And I'm not sure at this point what to call people that are kind of like, currently they're virtual friends. They've communicated to me, I've communicated to them through social media. I hope and I plan, all goes as it planned this year, I will meet many of them at different retreats. So then they'll be real life friends. But right now, I don't know them. I know what they look like because I've seen their pictures on Instagram or whatever, Facebook. So I'm not sure. But anyway, one of those people, her name is Pam Horner, and she contacted me. Well, first of all, she was at a little getaway with her friends, and I was like, I really wanted to go crash their party, except it was many states away. It's hard to crash a party when you have to drive 3 days to get there. Anyway, because my last video I talked about my daylight light, and if you're not sure what I'm talking about, go back to that video. It's by daylight. It's a magnifying light, and I put it on the, depending on where I sit, I either use my overhead light if I'm sitting in my recliner. If I'm sitting on the couch, I use this particular light I'm talking about, and I set it on the arm of the couch. I plan to use it for travel because I'm going to 4 different retreats this year. But anyway, she said, go to Joann's and buy this hard case, which is actually made for knitting. Put your knitting needles and all that good stuff in it. But that light fits in here perfect. You know, you can put the cord in here, and then the light just fits in there perfect. And of course, Joann's, you know, you can use a coupon. So I just wanted to mention that. If you have one of those lights and you are going to travel with it, it's a nice hard case to carry it in. So there you go. So I hope you're enjoying baseball. We had opening day. Watched my St. Louis Cardinals. Here we go. St. Louis Cardinals. Won one, I lost one. So anyway, born and raised in St. Louis, so I still follow that team. Anyway, hope you're enjoying your spring days. I hope it's nice weather. I hope that you're getting lots of stitching in, and hopefully, if I am signed up for the same retreat, I will get to meet you. So please come up and just say, hey, I watch your videos, or I want to meet you, or whatever. I'm very approachable. I am short. I think that's the only thing when people meet floss tube people in person, unless they've seen regular pictures of them, they're like, oh, you're really short, or oh, you're really tall. because you don't know from just sitting here. So anyway, that's what I'm doing, and that's what I'm stitching, and I hope as April starts that you just have lots of stitching time. So I will let you go. Love you. Bye.